for watching. I'm James Creedon. Now we start with the situation in Mali. After months of bubbling discontent and sporadic protests, Mali's President Keita was forced out of office by a military junta this past week. Now, negotiations with the opposition to attempt to form a unity government have repeatedly failed. Those talks were overseen by ECOWAS, that's a bloc of 15 West African nations. That organisation has sent envoys from across West Africa, led by the former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan. They've now arrived in Bamako. To discuss that, we're joined in studio by Magloire Keumayou. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Yes,
thanks for joining us. You're a journalist and you're the head of the African Information Club. Now, Mali's opposition groups have vowed to work with military officers who deposed President Keita this week. They're calling on the people of Mali to rally behind the junta. This appears to be the will of the people to some extent, doesn't it? Or some of the people at least.
Yes, some of the people, because I think there is also part of the population who wanted President Ibeka to stay at the office in the presidential palace. But the fact is, it is very difficult now to prognostic that he will be staying. The negotiations are going on, but probably they will only negotiate his liberation, not the fact that he will resume the presidency.
So ECOWAS, they're not really liked by the protesters who are kind of rally behind the opposition coalition June 5 movement. Some even had signs calling it a délégation instead of a délégation, which wordplay basically means horrible bunch. They're seen as a bit of an old boys club or an interest group, right? And that they want to prop up Keita, and that's not what the people wanted, or at least the protesters.
The fact is that not only in Mali, but when you see how the situation is managed by the ECOWAS in other countries like Togo, like Ivory Coast, and also the other countries of the 15 of the region, people don't trust ECOWAS, and that's why they don't want them to come, because they consider they are an alliance of the head of state who want to help themselves. They don't want to help the people. And
so give us some background on why there were so many protests. It is complex. It was down to kind of a sense that the elections were rigged, a general sense that there was corruption.
It started with the re-election of the President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita. They said he hasn't won the elections. And after there were the elections, the legislative elections, they said there were 30 deputies who were elected in trouble situation. So they wanted the election to be reorganized. And also they wanted the dissolution of the Constitutional Court, who said the elections were right. So all the protests started from that, and then the government said there will be a coalition government with all those people. They tried to organize a new Constitutional Court.
Do you think there's some chance that there could eventually be an agreement between the two sides, some sort of a coalition, now that maybe the balance of power is tipping away from President Keita? Where do you think this is going to go?
I think President Keita cannot discuss anything with the opposition, cannot discuss anything with the junta. What will be discussed is a transitional government that will be now ruling the affairs in Mali. The militaries have said they will be respecting all the agreements signed by the former government, and that's all we can.
But a transitional government of former President Keita's allies and his government, or are we talking about really a change in
power? I think that is what will be discussed with the delegation of the ECOWAS, but I don't think there will be a lot. There will be a government probably with a majority of the opponents, and maybe a few people who were with the President Keita, but that will be really a few members of the coalition.
Magloire, thank you. Magloire Keumayou, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Thanks so much for that analysis.
Thank you very much.
Ivory Coast President